Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video like up. Hope Valley is not the same quiet town it once was. The air this season feels different, charged with a mix of anticipation and nostalgia. The year 2025 marks a turning point for this series, a chapter that Hallmark insiders are calling the rebirth of When Calls the Heart. Not just a continuation, but a rediscovery of the people, the passions, and the purpose that have defined the show for over a decade. At dawn, the camera pans across the valley. The river glimmers with a reflection of golden sunlight. The bell rings in the distance and life stirs again in the town square. But something has shifted. A new school term, a new mayoral election, and the arrival of someone from far beyond the hills are about to test Hope Valley's harmony in ways no one could predict. Elizabeth Thornton wakes up to the sound of little Jack's laughter echoing through the house. Her mornings are no longer just about lessons and reading aloud. They're about preparing herself to face a community in transition. Change has always come slowly to Hope Valley, but this time, it feels like the world outside is rushing in faster than anyone can catch their breath. Elizabeth has always stood for compassion and growth. But as 2025 unfolds, she begins to question what her calling truly means now. The schoolhouse, once her sanctuary, becomes the center of a heated debate, a discussion about modern education versus tradition. A visiting teacher from Hamilton brings new methods that inspire the younger generation but ruffle the feathers of longtime residents. The clash forces Elizabeth to reconsider what it means to teach not just knowledge but values. Nathan Grant, ever steadfast, finds himself caught between his duties and his heart once again. But this time, the conflict isn't romantic. It's moral. A new law enforcement division has begun extending its influence into smaller territories. And Nathan faces an impossible choice: follow new regulations that may compromise his integrity, or stand firm and risk losing his badge. The Mountie uniform has always represented order, but for Nathan, begins to symbolize something deeper: the cost of staying true to oneself in a changing world. Meanwhile, the town buzzes with the unexpected return of someone who once left quietly. A woman named Clara, now transformed by her years away, rides into Hope Valley with her young son. Her return is met with whispers and cautious smiles. Clara's presence revives buried emotions, especially for Rosemary, who must face a difficult truth about friendship, forgiveness, and how time changes people. The two women share a scene that many on set described as the most emotional moment of the season, a tearful embrace under the lantern lights as the past finally meets the present. Bouchard's arc this season is perhaps the most mysterious. No longer the mayor, he spends more time outside Hope Valley than within it, seeking something undefined, something that keeps him restless. But when a devastating event in a nearby mining town sends families fleeing to Hope Valley, Lucas steps forward in a way no one expects. The businessman becomes the bridge between two communities, one thriving and one broken. Through this, he begins a redemption arc unlike any he's had before. What few know is that this storyline draws inspiration from real frontier events. The way small communities in the early 1900s united after industrial collapses. In the show, this becomes a metaphor for healing, not just for Lucas, but for everyone. Aaron Krakow and Chris McNally's on-screen chemistry reportedly takes on a new dimension. This year, no longer about romantic tension, but mutual respect and rediscovered understanding. The Coulters, Lee, and Rosemary stand at the emotional core of Hope Valley's transition. Their newspaper has grown into something of a local institution. But the new storyline pushes them to question what journalism really means. A powerful man arrives in town promising prosperity through expansion and technology, but his methods are questionable. Lee, drawn by opportunity, sees potential for the town's future, while Rosemary senses danger. The season's emotional storm brews between progress and principle, and the Coulters' marriage faces its toughest test yet. Behind closed doors, Rosemary grapples with something even more personal, a secret she's been keeping since last season. Fans have speculated it might involve her health or her child's future, but the truth is far more layered. In a touching monologue filmed by candlelight, Rosemary reflects on legacy, motherhood, and fear, a scene Hallmark insiders are already calling Emmy-worthy. Faith. Carter's journey takes a brave new turn as well. A medical emergency early in the season forces her to confront her own limitations as a healer. When a mysterious illness spreads through town, Faith becomes the anchor holding the community together. But it's not just about medicine. It's about faith in oneself. A visiting doctor, a charming yet secretive man, challenges her both intellectually and emotionally. Their professional rivalry slowly turns into a connection that has the potential to become something deeper. Though both resisted at first, and while love stories remain the heartbeat of Hope Valley, 2025 also shines light on the next generation. Allie, now older, begins questioning her place in town and dreams of traveling beyond the valley to study. Her storyline reflects the universal conflict of youth versus roots. How far should one go to chase their dreams without forgetting where they came from? Nathan's struggle to let her go, to trust that she can make her own path, mirrors Elizabeth's own earlier journey of growth and independence. Little Jack, growing into his own personality, brings innocence and humor to balance the heavier themes. But his curiosity also leads him to uncover something that has been hidden for years, an old letter belonging to his father, Jack Thornton. When Elizabeth finds it, the emotional weight of the discovery shakes her foundation. The letter holds not just memories, but advice, a message that connects her past with her present and perhaps guides her toward her next great choice. A new family also arrives in Hope Valley, the Grays. They bring with them modern ideas, a sense of sophistication, and a touch of mystery. Their teenage daughter forms an unexpected bond with Allie, and together they become the voices of a new generation, one that's unafraid to question, to dream, and to change the world around them. But not everyone welcomes the Grays with open arms. Their arrival stirs up old tensions about class, ambition, and what it means to belong. The church, too, becomes a focal point for a storyline about faith and community. Pastor Joseph Canfield faces a deeply human challenge, the fear of losing faith himself. His internal struggle balancing leadership with vulnerability becomes one of the season's most moving threads. His quiet conversations with Elizabeth, filled with wisdom and melancholy, remind viewers that hope is not always loud. Sometimes it's the whisper that keeps you going when all else fails. Behind the scenes, Hallmark has taken bold steps to make this season feel visually renewed. The cinematography is more atmospheric. Misty mornings, glowing sunsets, and candlelit interiors reflect the emotional tone of each episode. Costumes have been subtly updated to reflect the era's transition into the early 1920s, giving the show a fresh but authentic aesthetic. The soundtrack, composed by John Sarita, has been described by insiders as more hauntingly nostalgic. A new theme variation featuring a delicate piano melody intertwined with violin underscores Elizabeth's reflective moments. During one key episode, this music plays as Elizabeth stands by the river, reading Jack's old letter aloud. The moment is silent except for her voice and the soft rustle of leaves, a scene meant to symbolize closure, not just for her, but for every heart still healing. The mid-season episodes introduce a storm, both literal and emotional. A landslide threatens to isolate Hope Valley, and for the first time in years, the townsfolk must rely solely on each other for survival. It's during this crisis that old feuds are set aside, forgiveness is sought, and unexpected heroes emerge. Nathan risks his life to save a family trapped near the cliffs. Lucas leads a daring effort to rebuild a bridge. Rosemary opens the newspaper office as a makeshift shelter. Through chaos, unity returns, and then comes the quieter aftermath, the rebuilding. As the storm clears, the town gathers for a ceremony of gratitude under the stars. Lanterns float upward into the night sky, each carrying a wish for the future. Elizabeth's wish, whispered softly, is for peace, not just for herself, but for every soul that's ever called Hope Valley home. The season's final episodes, currently in production, are shrouded in secrecy. Insiders hint at a jaw-dropping, twist involving a long-lost connection to one of the original residents. Something that could bring back a familiar face or uncover a hidden truth from the town's earliest days. What's certain is that the writers are building toward a finale that honors the show's roots while opening a brand new path forward. Even off-screen, the energy among the cast is electric. Aaron Crocco has described the 2025 storyline as the most soul-stirring journey we've ever taken. Kevin McGarry shared that this year's Nathan finally understands what it means to love without fear. Pascal Hutton called it the season of truth for everyone. And Chris McNally hinted that Lucas's story comes full circle, in a way fans won't expect. Thematically, 2025's When Calls the Heart explores what happens when